Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Ready to Love. So it starts out with all of the ladies meeting up with Tommy to discuss what they're gonna do this week. And the task that he gives them is to dig deeper. And they're gonna be going over to the men's houses and having, one-on-one dates and random dates and stuff throughout the week and getting to know people, especially if they haven't been able to really, talk to them like they want to, even if they are feeling like they have somewhat of a vibe with them. But yeah, that's what their task is this week. And the ladies are excited. And, he's like, well, I already know that y'all already have a few things on your mind, but, y'all are given permission to dig deeper. So the first couple that we see, and I'm saying couple, but I mean, I really wish they hadn't have shown us what they did show us, because it looked like they're gonna have a little spat. Might be all the way done, I don't know. But they showed Vernisha and Joel. I don't know if you say it. I'm not sure if you pronounce it Joel or Joel. I could have swore he said Joel, but I don't know. I'm gonna say Joel. I need to go back to the first episode and hear him say it, because my name is easy to pronounce. And I've gotten used to people saying my name all the way wrong, even though it's spelled exactly the way that you pronounce it. But I don't know. I don't want to say his name wrong. But y'all know who I'm talking about. It's the accent for me. Wazam, all that good stuff. So anyway, Vernisha and Joel link up at his house. He has cooked breakfast. He has hugged her. He done got his entire life from the hug. And they're talking. And one of the things she wants to know is, do you feel as though you have gotten stronger because of, or if you've changed? That's what I want to say. She wants to know if he feels as though he's changed since the passing of his wife. And he says that he knows that he's changed, but not necessarily for the better or for worse, but all he knows for certain is that he has changed. Well, she notices that whenever he speaks of his children, the twins, he lights up. And she says that is something that attracts her to him, because she's all about her daughters and all that stuff, and that she can see herself with him. You know what I'm saying? She just feels as though it's easy to talk to him, very easy to get along with, and that, they will be able to blend their families with no problem. And she just let him know that she ain't feeling nobody else. Like, she ain't really looked nobody else's way. She does not have the chemistry with anybody else that she has, had dealings with on this show. And I'm like, well, I mean, it is what it is. I want to know if it's going to change because of the little clip that they shouldn't have shown us, like I keep saying, but we'll see. So then we see Troy. And I think her name is Alexis, and she calls herself Fly. I told you, people had me dying talking about her. I'm not gonna get into it. If you don't know, then I ain't got nothing to say on that. They ain't got nothing to do with me. But anyway, they ended up linking up, having themselves a one-on-one at some restaurant that had been, just rented out for just them to be there. And she's walking in like, I have a bone to pick, because I already heard that he'd been doing the most with a lot of the other women. And the fact that before she even could get started, he already could tell that he was in trouble. For you to have to say, oh, am I in trouble? You already know you're in trouble. Like, you do the most. Tommy already told him that he doing the most with all this kissing of all of the women. Like, you doing the most. And then he gonna sit up there and lie to us. Oh, well, that's not me. I don't know what you're talking about. Come on, production, do what y'all do. And they roll back that beautiful bean footage, because he's sitting up here lying to us. Oh, I don't do that. She said that when she came in just a few minutes ago that he kissed her on the cheek or on the forehead. Y'all, I don't legit remember and don't care, because I roll my eyes when I see him, because there's something about his personality. There's something about him that usually I could just look at certain people and like I could observe you for a short amount of time and be like, oh no. Especially if you're being authentic like he is. He's being very authentic. That's the good thing about it. The good thing about it is that he's being authentic, so that people aren't sitting up there getting swept up in somebody that he's not. So yeah, from what I've been seeing, he's trash anyway. So I'm very understanding as to why he is single, and nobody has been trying to hear what he's talking about. They might take him up on the trips and all these other things, and just to get out the country, but ain't nobody trying to be with him in no serious relationship. Like, nah. Oh, you want to spend some money on me? Thanks. Like, that's probably all that he gets from these women. And I guess sex, if they want to give it up, but nah. Anyway, Alexis confronted him and was like, I have heard that other women have said that you be over here kissing them, that you have promised them to take them places out of the country. You just told me that you were going to take me out of the country on my birthday. Like, we gonna have to set some ground rules. I don't like that. If you are going to say something, let it be something that you're only saying to one person and not multiple people. Like, I don't understand why he thinks that this is cool. I don't understand why he thinks kissing everybody on the cheek is what it is. And I'm just like, you really, like I already said this before, I really don't understand why he thought that that was something, like he really was doing something. But anyway, she really wanted to know, like, who is really his number one, because he done told her that she is his number one. And she was just like, that ain't what I heard, so who is your number one? And if I'm not mistaken, they left that as a cliffhanger, and they was just sitting there, and I don't know if this is going to be footage that will be released at the reunion or whatever. I guess so, but we'll get to that later on. But yeah, I don't remember him saying anything. So then the next couple that went out were Chris and Amber, who is the defense attorney. And they had like a little exercise / boxing date. And, he kept, putting it, the way he sounds anyway, it puts more on what is being said anyway. So I know it's something that he really can't help, but his voice just amplifies everything that's happening. So anyway, after they were done with their little boxing and all that stuff, they were having fun, enjoying themselves, and she was like, well, I feel comfortable telling you this. Let me tell you that I am not just an attorney, I'm a defense attorney. I'm a defense lawyer. I, do this. A lot of people don't want to hear you say, oh, I'm a DA. And I'm like, do you have warrants out for your arrest or something? Like, what kind of criminal background do you have that you cringe at the thought of her being a DA? I'm not understanding. Like, I don't understand what has happened for these men that she has dealt with to cringe. I'm like, she went to school, she did what she's supposed to do, and she works, and she's doing these things. I don't understand the problem. So anyway, it is what it is. I'm just like not here for it. I'm just like, whatever, do what y'all do. But anyway, so, they've seemed to have a really good communication, and he let her know that it's okay. He doesn't see the problem with that, which there is no problem with her having that as her career and her actually doing that. But yeah, it's just a mess. And I'm just like, y'all, I don't understand why they was doing the most when it comes to that. So anyway, of course, because of what has happened in the past with Chris, he's kind of guarded a little bit. He did want to know like what was going on with her upbringing and all of that. And they have similar backgrounds. She's very well accomplished, and it's just the way that she came up. She felt very comfortable with him. They seemed to have something going on that seemed to be clicking, because she was trying to click with Troy, but Troy's trash, and I'm glad she saw that from a mile away. So it is what it is. So now we're moving on to David and I think Stacy. They're on an exercise date. I'm just like, why everybody doing a workout date? Why? I know that there are some people who deem a date to be an exercise situation, but I'm just like, why is that just about everybody's date? But anyway, so they're doing what they're doing. She kind of shaded him because she wanted him to get into this position and be safe. But the way she said it came off as shady, like she was throwing shade. Because she was like, you're a little older, and, I wouldn't want you to fall, and, it takes longer to heal. It's the truth, but it still came off like, dang. But But anyway, so they had their moment where they were sitting down and talking, and she, she's. I mean, it's like she seemed like she here for him a little bit, but not really. And so it ain't even really no real reason to go into it about them, because it's like she ain't trying to. I don't see the connection. The connection ain't there, and he trying, but a lot of the people are not here for him, talking about celibacy and not doing nothing until you're married. So she ain't trying to really hear all that. It's like she kind of trying to play nice until the date is over. So now there's a group date that's happening, and they're playing, what's that beanbag game where you throw it at a hole, kind of like horseshoes or something. They're playing whatever that is. I forgot the name of that game. But Alexis and what's his name? Jason, who was her son's basketball coach, and AJ and Liz, who is the she does the behind the scenes, the studio stuff, CEO of her own business, all that stuff. So they doing that, and Alexis is so confident, thinking that they're gonna win because he played basketball and he do stuff for the children, but they lost. And I'm just like, oh, like I already knew. As soon as she said that, I already knew that they was gonna lose. But anyway, so then everybody go and had their own little individual date, and so they're talking, and Alexis and Jason are talking, and for her, she feels like she really like him, and he is one of her top people, and he's sitting so far away. She wants him to come up on her and all of that. The only takeaway that I got from this was that she don't know when to stop. She don't know when she going too far, especially since y'all just getting to know one another. Like you doing the most. So, of course, she had to come up and say some more stuff again about some sexual stuff. And she was like, I really get that way when it's that time of the month. And I'm like, why did you even say that? Like, I mean, most grown men probably know of this by now. All men are not willing to run red lights. And in all honesty, we shouldn't be doing that. But, I mean, if you choose to do so, do what you do. But that man had to take a sip of drink, like his dark liquor, on that note, and looked like he kind of somewhat nervously laughed. But he is all the way on the other side of the couch. And he kind of looked like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm going to listen to you, but okay, do what you do. So, AJ and Liz are talking. And, everybody, seems to like how AJ looks. But, I don't know. I feel like he's just kind of hanging in the middle for right now. I feel like he just hanging in there. And their conversation was about, kind of like sex too. Because she was like, what do you feel about intimacy? What do you feel about intimacy? And then she switched it up and was basically like sex, without, whatever. So anyway, the gist of it all is that she does not want to engage in sexual activities, and that she is actually abstaining right now. And in his mind, he was kind of like, well, I feel like if the vibe is there, we should be able to do that and not have to worry about it and all this other stuff. She ain't here for it, because she if I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to be like, oh, we together and I got to do it, or the relationship going to be over or whatever. But she want to be able to do what she going to do. Y'all, so Chrysanthemum has appeared. What I didn't understand was, why is it that everybody is not understanding that her name is not the flower? Her name is Chrysanthemum, not Chrysanthemum. Her name is Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum. Not chrysanthemum. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Even Tommy said something about, hey, and referred to her as the flower. And I'm like, she done heard people say her name so wrong so many times that she done just accepted the lie of it all. Because her name is not the flower. Her name is Chrysanthemum, not chrysanthemum. But anyway, y'all, I'm over here defending her name like it's mine. I've had people to get, my ex of all people, he used to get furious when people would say my name incorrectly. And my name is one of the easiest names in the world to say. But anyway, we see Chrysanthemum and Ronald get together. I don't know what it is, but to me, I just feel like, I don't know if it's like just this episode overall or something that's making me feel this way, but it seems like Chrysanthemum was getting Chrysanthemum. Ugh, I'm over here saying it the incorrect way. I feel like she was getting all of this praise and all of this because people love how she looks. And we didn't even see her really like that last episode. And now I'm seeing her in this episode, and I'm like trying to wake up. Like, what is going on? Like, I mean, I'm not expecting fireworks, but to me, in a way, it's like you're running in the middle of the pack, and you're here possibly because of how you be looking or something. Because I don't understand why you here. Why anybody bringing your name up? I mean, you might be lucky because it's a week where the women get to choose who go home, because I don't know what's going on. But anyway, they're talking, and Ronald feels as though they are on the same page, because y'all already know when he was talking to the cat lady, who is no longer on the show, that she's not down with a traditional situation. And so he feels as though Chrysanthemum is more of a traditional woman. And so when they were talking about how they would like their futures to be and all that other stuff, they kind of seem like they might be a little bit in sync, but I don't see it. I guess they the ones who see it. As long as y'all see it, do what you do. So anyway, David has met up with Liz, and she's having a one-on-one with him, and she kind of feels like he would be more suitable to be with because he's into spirituality and religion and all this other stuff. Like, he's big on his faith, and she is too. He's a church guy, she's a church girl. So they're talking about a lot of things, and they are dead right on the nail with how they feel about a lot of this stuff. And it was interesting for him to bring up how, how church was for him growing up and how it was with dating. The way he grew up was pretty much how I grew up. We weren't you had to go to church every single day of the week type of family, but for a while, I mean, I couldn't even start listening to rap until I was like preteen, teenager or whatever. And it wasn't even nothing that was like out of the way, even though I would sneak and listen to stuff that my cousin had. But yeah, it was to the point where, my parents didn't want me to date. When I actually started even caring about, boys or whatever, I had a little boy who would call the house, and I would sneak to talk to him. My mama would hear me, and then she would get on the phone, and she would try to sneak and get on the phone and try to listen to what I'm saying. Like, I can't. So with his situation, he couldn't talk to nobody on the phone. His mama would be super duper holy with even answering the phone, and he didn't even like the way she was answering the phone. He was so sheltered to the point where when he left home, went to college or wherever he went and moved out and went on by his business, he left the church behind, even though he still had the church within. So he lost himself a little bit along the way, and then he feels as though he became like a typical prodigal son type situation where you go away from home, you live your life the way you want to, and then you come back home and say, I'm sorry, I did what I did, Lord, whatever. So he kind of feels like it was prodigal son type situation. Liz is intrigued by his story, and he actually has been married a couple of times before. The first time he got married, he was in his 20s, really, really young. And of course, he didn't know what he was doing. So he says that he didn't know how to be a husband. But the second time he was ready, but the person that he was with wasn't. And she just walked out. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, see, I'm very inquisitive. I'm like, what'd she walk out for? Most things don't just happen like just because, like, oh, let me just walk out. Like, why though? What happened? Not necessarily trying to say it was anything that he did. I'm the type of person, I would want to know why. Why would this person just leave? Don't nobody just walk out. Most people don't just walk out unless there's a mental disability and they just blackout, and it's just something like that. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what it is. What it ain't, what it's gonna be. I don't know. But anyway, so she seemed to enjoy her date. And so everybody reconvenes. They're talking to Tommy. And they say who they like, who they don't like. And the bottom two are Troy, Hallelujah, and David. And so they end up having Amber to talk to David. And they end up having Troy to talk to... who was it? I don't remember. Like, I can't stand him. That's how bad it is, y'all. I can't even remember who in the world was talking to him. Cause I don't want to say it was Amber and it wasn't her. It wasn't. It was is it Stacy? So Troy was talking to Stacy. So Stacy ain't really had no dealings with him like that. Like, not for real. Not major like everybody else. And so Amber is talking to David and trying to get him to understand that with one of the other dates he had a date with, I forgot who he had a date with. And the person he had the date with, he said that they needed to give up all passwords. There is no such thing as privacy and all this other stuff. And even in his conversation with her, I feel like I'm saying this person's name completely wrong. Is her name Stacy? Anyway, whoever the person was, he was like, well, I already know this is only in relation to one date. This situation happened when I was talking to this person. And he says that he felt like it was taken out of context. But at the same time, I'm like, you basically said the same thing over and over again. You said the same thing again to me, which was, it sounds as if you don't have trust. And she was trying to get him to understand that you can't sit up there and say that, oh, well, no, if you're going to be with me, we together, you my wife, ain't no privacy around here. Everything is going to be left out in the open for us to see. My thing is, it shouldn't have to be like that. Not unless somebody just randomly just, be like, hey, can you go in there and get something for me? Like, why? Or if y'all have that type of relationship, then just don't have passwords on nothing. Now, if you have that situation when you're already married to somebody, cool, do what you do. But you came in you got to have a password. I got to have your password. I need to have all your account information. Ain't no privacy around here. Like, you have trust issues, sir. It is clear that you are bringing baggage from your last relationships that have failed into what could be your future. That's not cool. That ain't gonna work. So, trying to help him to understand, you need to reevaluate the way that you think. On the other hand, in the other place, Troy is speaking and not understanding what is going on, apparently, because in his mind, he ain't doing nothing wrong, and I don't know what they're talking about, and it's like and then he already knew she was gonna bring up him kissing everybody and doing the most, and so y'all, hallelujah, he was the one who went home. Because I just can't. I already told y'all, it is something about him. I just cannot do it. There is something wrong. There is something going. Like, you got the nerve to be so arrogant. You have the nerve to be so arrogant and cocky when you don't have anything outside of monetary things to offer. You don't have anything of substance to offer, apparently. And if you do, nobody has seen it on this show. Just saying, it is what it is. But yeah, he the one who went home. I'm glad. I don't know how it's gonna go next week, but to me this week was not a curveball, so they might go ahead and switch it up next week. I don't know what it is, but Chrysanthemum and Ronald, they just I don't understand what is going on. It just don't. What Roland Ray or whoever was say it ain't giving what it was supposed to give. I just feel like it ain't giving what it was supposed to give. Like, what is we talking about? I don't know what is going on. I don't know. I don't understand. But anyway, let's get down in the comment section and discuss this, because y'all make me feel like I'm crazy. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Bye.